I've always enjoyed utilizing lead guitar lines to reinforce different scale shapes across the neck, and that's exactly what we're doing here. And what I want you all to be aware of as you're playing through this line is exactly which shapes we're in as we're playing through them. So I will be showing you an example of the guitar line, of the lead guitar line at the end of this video, but you can grab your guitar now, and I just want you to be familiar and aware of the shapes that we're playing through, and I'll give you a couple tips on how you can associate those shapes with some potential chords that you might already be familiar with. So anyways, let's jump in. When you're playing through the second, or when you're playing in between the second and fourth frets, that's the beginning of the line. We're going to move up the neck. So when we're down here, I want you to be aware of the proximity to the open A. Because that's such a movable, and it's such an easily grabbable shape. I just want you to always remember that. And when you're playing through that position, just have that on the top of mind, because that'll just always be helpful to associate when you're playing through those positions. So that's really easy to move up to the key of C. You'll have that reminder, so maybe you're at a jam. Ooh, I can grab this. And you'll have a really easy, phrase that you can just, reach out and grab really quick. So anyways, think about that open A shape when we're in between the second and fourth fret. When we're in between the fourth think about that open E shape is what it's based on, but think about that A bar chord. And you can connect those shapes. So think about how those shapes connect. It's just such helpful stuff to always be processing. Of course, you want your hands to be able to do this, so there's an important element of just getting the technical skill under your fingers, but you want to be thinking about these things in a practical way. And I do think it's helpful to be thinking about these things in terms of shapes. And then think about moving that up, that kind of C shape, that open C shape. Think about that when we're up here, and then of course, you're really close to restarting and having an octave. So just be aware of those shapes. Open A, the A bar chord between the 5th and 7th fret, and then the C shape that starts on the 12th fret. So just be processing that. But of course, have fun with this because it is an applicable lead line, so you could use this. You could go find an A major backing track and mess around with this line. But I think it's really helpful to know the shapes, be familiar with them, and be thinking about them as you're playing through. And we do have another lesson. It's the reason actually why the other lesson this week is in the key of A major. It's to help reinforce these positions, and that exercise is centered around string skipping and the skill of skipping strings. So I will link that. It's going to be right here up in this corner. So check that out if you want another exercise that works a different skill but helps reinforce those same positions. Because all these positions are very movable to different keys, so they're extremely helpful. So anyways, if you did find this valuable, you found this to be helpful, definitely give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, for more easy guitar practice. Of course, we always appreciate it. And yeah, so here's the lead guitar line. Stay for the tabs. There's going to be tabs on the line itself and then the different scale shapes that you're playing through. So I always suggest pausing when we flash those tabs so you can screenshot them and hang on to them for whenever you want to use them. So for now, have fun with this, take it easy, and we'll see you next time.